started. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Jeremy is not able to be with us. He had something with his kids planned, so I was voluntold to take over. Just kidding. I'm glad I finally got to sit in with you guys on one of these. I feel like all the other ones have been scheduled on dates that I've had other stuff going on. So I'm glad I'm finally able to join you. I know this isn't our traditional meeting in Gainesville where we all get to, sit together and hang out and have dinner, but this is going to have to be an acceptable substitute for now. So hopefully we'll get back to those being in person. But in the meantime, I'm glad that we're able to schedule these multiple times throughout the season. I kind of hope that in addition to our one in-person meeting, that these kind of stick around in terms of being able to get everyone together and share information. I will tell you that from an office perspective, things seem to be going well. We have had a few issues come up with people kind of over officiating COVID regulations, which I certainly hope that you guys all got my message. You certainly do not need to do that. It's not, you guys have enough to worry about and enough to take care of, especially with the new pitching rule, that you shouldn't have to worry about that as well. So hopefully that has sort of leveled off a bit. We had a few, in my opinion, there were 3 in 10 days. And I think that's a lot. Coaches ejected for using the Ghost Gold bat. So hopefully that's been rectified. I sent out information to the coaches, pictures of the bat, links to the USA softball approved bat list and so on. So hopefully that tails off as well. Other than that, we're playing games. Hopefully we get to play a full season this year. And then we can all see each other again down in Claremont. So I am going to turn it over to Diane and share my screen, and we will go ahead and get started.
Hey. Oh, awesome. All right.
Okay.
There you go.
Welcome, everyone. Good to have you all online again. This one's aimed at 3 umpire mechanics, but there's really information in here for all umpires. Those of you who work 3 know that it is a great system for softball. It fits perfectly on our size diamond. You can get everything covered way better than 2 umpire system, but it's different and it requires time on the field and study and more time on the field to work it effectively. If you're thinking about what you need to do, you'll be late. So it has to come naturally. And nothing beats getting out there and working 3 umpires, even if it's a matter of working with your assigner and volunteering to go out on your own dime and teaming up with 2 other experienced umpires and working a 3 umpire game. That's what we have to end up doing a lot of times to get the practice before postseason. So next one, Kelly, if you've got control, yeah. 4 rules in the 3 umpire system. Rotations are a big deal, and they're always clockwise. Plate umpire goes to third base. U3 covers first and second base, and U1 has to hustle to the plate.
That's important.
Second rule, if we start counter rotated, which means U1 is over in B behind the second baseman, there will never be a rotation if you start counter rotated. Everybody stays home. In high school, we chase or we cover every fly ball that has potential to touch leather. It's not like college where you don't chase the can of corn. In high school, if it has potential to be touched, somebody should be out. But we've often said when we do debriefs that in Vero Beach or now in Claremont, a good no chase decision is worth a lot more than a routine chase. So study your outfielders, know where they are. And if there's no reason, if there's no reason for anything to be decided, don't chase. And the other rule is if one of the base umpires chases, the remaining umpires revert to 2 umpire mechanics. And next one. So when you put your crews together, by the way, we're talking postseason. It seems like we just started, but Kelly's going to be asking us for our postseason crews by the end of this month. So when you start putting your postseason crews together, plate umpires actually got the job that's most similar to what he does all the time, or what he or she does in the 2 umpire system. So you don't necessarily put your most experienced umpire on the plate. Don't put your rookie at third base. It's real obvious if the person that, you can take a person and put him in a rocking chair at first base, and he will probably get along. But the U3 really needs to know how to work 3 umpire system. So rotations, like I said, rotation's a big deal. Anytime that U1 starts on the line, we have a potential for rotation. When does U1 start on the line? With no runners, obviously. With a runner at third base only, U1 starts on the line. Once that runner scores on a ball hit to the outfield, we have potential for a rotation. U3's got to get to second, the plate's got to get up to third, and U1 has to get to the point of the plate. In every case, strong verbals, strong communications to push your partners and pull the other one will help a lot. Something we see a lot, and it's a product of the 2 umpire system. Plate umpire, a lot of times will move towards third base because you have responsibilities at third base and at home in the 2 umpire system. But if we start with U1 counter rotated in B and no one chases, plate has no responsibilities at third base at all. Stay at home, stay at the point of the plate, read the play, use the wedge. And the other thing we've done in Florida, and it really makes a lot of sense, is if we have no runners and U1 chases in the outfield, plate covers first base and has everything at first base and at home. And this isn't a trail. This is a hard sprint, 55 feet to get in calling position at first base. U3's moving to calling position at second base, plate's moving to calling position at third base. All right. Next
Let me add 2 things there.
Yeah, thanks, Cindy.
All right, the first thing, can you go back one, Diane? Or not? 2 things. If U1 starts on the line, U1 also starts on the line when you have a runner at first base only.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, and that's the most likely rotation.
Right. Okay, the second thing is when U1 goes home and rotates home, there is no stop and go between first base and the plate. Your position to end up at is point of plate, and then you can maneuver from there. But once you start to go all the way, even if the play is stopped because the runner got to third base, you must continue on to your spot behind the plate.
Right. When we evaluate this, even if you're late, finish your rotation to the point of the plate. Even if you get a late start and say, oh, geez, I should have rotated. If you go all the way, finish it. Thanks, Cindy.
Yep.
Do you want me to play this first and then talk about it? Okay.
Yeah, show it. And
Kelly's dog.
all right. And can you show that and get ready to pause it?
Whoops.
All right. And pause it right there. All right, so that is a good case that is what we're going to do. Outfielder running away. Ump is getting ready. I'm certain he's going to come to a complete stop and make the good outcome. Make sure that you're not in a throwing lane. All right, go ahead a little bit. All right, pause it. If you, yeah, just get where you see the plate up. Right. All right, keep going back. All right, and all right, freeze it, freeze it. All right, so there is a couple of things. First, ump is too deep to even, get a good call angle. He is on first base, playing extended. There isn't any way that you saw what happened. Should have started at the plate, and definitely went third base. Kelly, if you're able to get it a little bit when the catcher is getting ready to catch the ball.
Okay. Also watch you one out there. Wait till
He's right there.
Yeah, he turns way late.
All right, so let's ask our questions.
Right there.
Is that obstruction? Do we got obstruction? All right, so those are the things that you're thinking. You're looking at the runner and the catcher. Go one more, go about maybe another second. All right.
That thing cuts quick now.
But if you would have been at third base extended, you're going to see a lot better. Pretty much. I just wanted, we had a good chase, but then we need to we got to be really careful where we're at. And you got to read the throw.
Yeah, if you were third base extended, you could have seen a swipe tag. You would have saw that she missed the swipe tag, but then she came back in for the tag. But in this position, he is not believable on his out or safe call because he really didn't see everything in front of him. So that wedge concept this is a classic wedge, that it should have been third base extended. He would have seen everything. Then he could have rotated where he needed to see the ball and the runner's foot hit the plate or not. Notice the little bit of U3, I believe, up there in the corner.
Yeah.
Okay. If we had runners on second and third, his job is first when the runner tags up at second, because he's got all tag up responsibilities, right? So he should have been coming in because he has batter runner as well. As soon as U1 goes out, he's got batter runner and basically first and second. The plate technically has the plate and third base at this point. So since there's a play at the plate, obviously plate umpire is very busy at this moment, but it's good that U3 came back for a possible throw down to third base as well, but he's a little too close and not in a very good angle for anything that's going to happen at third base.
All right, Kelly. And you can, just hit.
Assuming a proper position between innings permits umpires to observe all players and activity until the half inning begins. The plate umpire takes a position on the first baseline extended, facing the infield when the team in the first base dugout comes to bat. Take a position on the third baseline extended, facing the infield when the team in the third base dugout comes to bat. Assume a safe distance from home plate, approximately 10 to 15 feet, in order to observe the pitcher warming up, the on-deck circle, and all infield activity. The base umpire takes a position in the outfield in fair territory, about 15 feet inside the foul line facing the infield. This location is on the first base side in a 2-umpire system and inside each foul line for a 3-umpire system. These are the preferred positions. If players are in your area for warm-up purposes, feel free to move to another area to observe the action.
All right, next.
Okay. Base umpires always in high school start square to the plate. Your belt buckle should be facing the point of the plate. That's if we have runners or if we have no runners. So first base umpire, if we have no runners, you're 18 to 21 feet walking the line. Same with the runner at third base only. When we have a single runner on first base, be 12 feet behind the base and about a foot off the line, but square to the plate. Turn your head to look at the pitcher. If you have runners on first and third, you're counter rotated in B. You shade the runner on first base because that's your only pickoff play that you have to cover. So you're on F4's left shoulder. Anytime you have a runner on second base, you shade the runner on second base, you're on the second baseman's right shoulder.
Hey,
Next one.
Next.
Now be careful with that shading when you have a runner on second only, because remember, you've got to get to first base to make that play. On the percentages, that's probably going to be your first play of the infield. So just be careful.
Right. Yeah, we're going to talk about that a little later too.
Okay.
So
We'll show you next.
Perfect.
okay, so again, rotations. Anytime first base umpire starts on the line and no one chases, you have a potential rotation. Actually, the most likely rotation is when you start with that runner on first base, because she's the lead runner, and that could happen on a sacrifice bunt. A bad throw, all of a sudden that runner that started on first is headed for third, and we have a rotation. Similarly, if you have a bunt and run, you have a fast runner on first, she takes off for second, the batter lays down a bunt. Now the first base umpire has probably the toughest rotation of all, has a play at first on the throw from the whoever fields the bunt, and then you have to rotate to the point of the plate. So that, but always be thinking about rotations, especially when you have a single runner at first base. If you button hook in most cases, if you don't have anybody chasing, you have help ahead. So keep your button hook near the first base line at the 10 to 12 foot point. And when you're counter rotated, you don't chase everything. If the left fielder or the right fielder is moving towards the line, that is not your chase. That's plate's ball. Get inside, take all calls at first base and second base. Think about it. If it's over your left shoulder, let it go. Next one. And our third base umpire, again, always start square to the plate. If you have no runners, 18 to 21 feet, walking the line. If you have a single runner on first base, this is when you are rotated to B, but you're not in the B that we think of in 2-umpire system. You're on a line from the inside of third base through the inside edge of second base and 12 feet behind the base. Look over the first base umpire. Remember when we said we had a runner on first base, he's 12 feet behind the base. You should be parallel with your partner. You should check each other, and you should be the same depth behind the baseline, first base to second base line. If you have a lead runner on second base, you're 12 feet behind third base, you're on the line in foul territory. But when you have that lead runner, when she gets to third base, now you want to be a full stride off the line so you can see the plate when that runner's taking her lead, because coaches they teach their runners go down and foul, come back and fair. So if she's going down and foul and you're on the line, that line drive that goes right past her is all of a sudden right on top of you. So be a full stride off the line when you have that runner at third base. Next one. All right, Cindy, this is fly ball coverage, outfield coverage when we're starting with both umpires on the line.
Okay, so we have nobody on at this point in time. In your pregame, it's a great idea to talk about who's going to take that ball dead center, either coming in or coming out. In all instances, U1 has the first right of refusal. So we're going to split the field exactly in half, down the middle. U1 gets everything from center all the way to the fence line in right field, and U3 has center field all the way to the fence line or dead ball territory in left field. So the pregame, make sure you determine if a ball's coming straight up the center, up the middle, who's more likely to take it. Now it could change, and U3 always has to watch U1 to make sure that U1 went or U1 didn't. It's a lot easier for U3 coming across to change his path and go get a ball that U1 decided not to get, that's in the center field, that could be a dying quail or something that somebody needs to get out and get some eyes on. Okay, so that's your illustration. Plate umpire has no fly baller's responsibility at this point unless U1 and U3 stay in. Okay, next one.
In the second, goes off speed again. Davis lifts it deep, left center field without giving chase. Oh, what a catch! No,
Okay.
oh, did it fall out of her glove? Inches away from an SC top 10. Oh, I thought she had it instead. The Blue Devils, now maybe a conversation. Let's have a talk about this one. That was an incredible effort.
Yeah, I saw the home plate umpire signal that she was out, so I'm not really sure here. Let's see at the replay.
Looks, oh, there you see the ball come out. Yep, I saw her close the glove on it initially. It's a good call. Smart there to tag up. Even just double checking on the foot. Why not? Plenty of time for Salinas to come home.
Right, that's a great job by.
I was so excited for the play. I didn't even notice the fluorescent ball rolling around on the track. You would think that I would have seen that, but nevertheless.
What an incredible effort, though. That was still a really great play. Very close. So.
Oh. All right. The main thing.
At third base, just waving girls in left and right.
So.
They're going to go on with another.
There are 2 outs. So somebody was called out.
All right. What they don't show you is the umpires getting together. Actually, it's later in this clip, but that's really not the important part. The important part was U3 did not chase on a ball that the girl made such a great effort to try and catch or not catch. But the other thing, it was close enough to the fence that somebody should have went on that ball. U3 did a stutter step, came back, did a stutter step, came back. So nobody knew if U3 was really going out or not. The only way I knew that U3 actually made the call was when the umpires got together before this next pitch, obviously, and they talked about it, and U3 actually came away from the conference and signaled an out. So that was the only way that I knew that U3 kind of took that, but he really did not have the best vantage point on that. U1 actually had the best vantage point on that, and that's why it's important to, see in all areas calling yours, but if they could have got together and actually made the correct call of no catch on this one instead of the out. So the important thing here is you've got to chase the balls when they're balls in trouble.
And you got to also bear in mind that when you do chase, or if you change your mind, you put in motion other people, and then you expect them to go back in motion based on what you didn't do. And it also shows us we've got to look at our partners the entire time. It is important to look at the play, but you got to look at what your partners are doing. If you look, yeah, hell,
Right
if
there.
you look right
Don't
there,
Don't know.
I mean, everybody, you mess with the plate guy, you mess with the first base guy by doing something like that. Go out, or or it just that's what we do because we're not comfortable with this. And also, what if that first baseman, base ump, all right, they know they make an assumption they're going out. Now they bust across. And it makes us look bad. And then guess what we hear? We got 3 umps out there and they still don't know what they're doing.
All right, let me correct one thing. This is a NC2A game. So that's why you 3 should have went out on this. But
Yeah.
if this was a high school game, okay, it would be U1's responsibility because they have from the left fielder to the right fielder, okay? And that play would not have been missed because U1 would have chased on that and actually got the best angle to actually see the no catch on that play. So since this is high school, I apologize for the video being college, but it was a great representation of not chasing when we should have chased. The other thing, the plate umpire should not have been point of plate so deep when you notice that your base umpires, nobody's covering it. Somebody's got to get eyes on that ball. And if it's even the plate umpire, he's got to come past, he's still got responsibility to tag, so don't get me wrong, but he's still got to come out somewhere, get a little closer, maybe a holding zone on first or third base side to see that catch, no catch, if nobody goes.
All right, next, Cal, thanks.
Okay, for third base umpire on rotations, again, same line as before. Whenever U1 starts on the line, you have a potential for rotation. That includes if you have a single runner at third and a ball's hit to the outfield, she's obviously going to score. Once she releases for the plate, third base umpire moves to the calling position at second base. And then if that batter runner goes for a triple, once she commits to third base, you have first and second base, plate has third base, and U1 rotates to the plate. We call it the rabbit. You call U3 the rabbit because U3 does a lot of running during a good ball game. Your rabbit target is calling position or holding position at second base. You come in from third base line to a point 10 to 12 feet short of the first to second base baseline and just short of second base. That's a good holding position, could be a good calling position. Again, when the lead run around second and use your verbals to push and pull your partners on rotations. Can't say that enough. Loud and proud on those verbals. So next one. When you are when you are rotated, you're in a perfect holding position for a steal at second base. We're so used to having to sprint somewhere when a girl takes off from first that umpires tend to try to move somewhere when all you have to do is step up, pick up the runner, the fielder, the ball, and then move. You use the same principles we used on the wedge at the plate to keep all those 4 elements into play on a steal of second. When you start rotated, you're only a few steps from perfect calling position for force plays at second. So you're starting at 12 feet, so you obviously have to back up a couple steps. So think about it. If the throw is coming from inside the baseline, from the pitcher's circle, for example, if you back up and move to your left a few steps, that'll give you closer to an 90 degrees to the throw. If it's coming from outside the baseline, say from shortstop playing deep, you move back and to your right a few steps, and that'll put you closer to the 90. If you start with the runner on first, sack bunt, whatever, play at first base, that runner rounds second base, move around the backside and get your 90 degrees there in case there's a throw and she's diving back into second. So think about the backside 90 when you're there. Next one.
Okay, and we don't need to go to the backside 90 just to go to it. Only if you need to go, if she comes off the base hard or a step or two, but if she slides into second base and she's getting up and standing on second base.
Rounding it hard and there's a potential throw, right?
Right, there's no need to go there.
Right.
Golly,
And here's fly ball coverage when third base is rotated.
Okay, very simple here. U1 now has from the right fielder to the fence line or dead ball area. U3 will now take the big V from the right fielder to the left fielder, and the plate umpire will take everything with the left fielder going towards the left field line and to the fence.
Great, thanks.
now they're going to need some videos.
All right.
Runner on
Couple-
second base.
I think all these are available on the
Start up at the top,
central hub. You can.
upper left.
I good to go?
Left,
What's that?
left, upper left. No runners on base.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was four.
There you go.
Starting position for base umpires. The starting position with no runners on base for both umpires is 18 to 21 feet beyond first and third base, respectively, in foul territory. Base umpires should walk the line by taking 1 or 2 steps with the release of the pitch, landing on the foot furthest from the foul line. This will give each umpire the ability to push off with that foot and react to the play.
Which one?
Down, doesn't matter.
Okay.
First base. Oh,
Runner on first base only. Starting position. When working the 3 umpire system with a runner on first base only, the starting position for the first base umpire is 12 to 15 feet beyond first base in foul territory and square to the plate. This allows the umpire to look through the runner to the pitcher and watch for
And there's
illegal
also like a
pitches
little bit
and the
off the
runner
line.
leaving early on an attempted steal. The third base umpire will start in a rotated position about 12 to 15 feet behind second base at a 90-degree angle to the baseline and square to the plate. Both base umpires go to a ready position at the start of the pitch. Base only. Starting position. When working the 3 umpire system with a runner at second base only, the umpires start in the counter rotated position. The starting position for the first base umpire is behind or off and to the second base side of the second base person, shading the lead runner and square to the plate. This position can and should be adjusted based on the location of the second base person. The starting position for the third base umpire is 12 to 15 feet beyond third base in foul territory and square to the plate. Both base umpires should go to the ready position at the start of the pitch. Runner at third base only. Starting position. When working the 3 umpire system with a runner on third base only, the starting position for the first base umpire is 12 to 15 feet beyond first base in foul territory and square to the plate. The starting position for the third base umpire is 12 to 15 feet beyond third base in foul territory and square to the plate. The third base umpire should be slightly off the line to prevent the runner from blocking the view of the plate. Both base umpires should go to the ready position at the start of the pitch.
Okay. All right, there you go.
Okay, go ahead
And
and
now
click
fly
on.
ball coverage when U1 is counter rotated.
Okay. It's pretty much just the opposite of the last one, so,
There you go.
yeah. Plate will now have right fielder to the fence line, dead ball area. U1 now has the big V from the left fielder to the center fielder. I'm sorry, left fielder to the right fielder. And then U3 now has the left fielder all the way through the dead ball fence line.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
Yeah, Larry.
Go ahead. Next one, Kelly.
Runners at first base and second base. Starting position. When working the 3-umpire system with runners at first and second base, the umpires start in the counter-rotated position. The starting position for the first base umpire is behind or off and to the second base side of the second base person, shading the lead runner and square to the plate. This position can and should be adjusted based on the location of the second base person. The starting position for the third base umpire is 12 to 15 feet beyond third base in foul territory and square to the plate.
Again, we would like you up to 12.
Both base umpires should go to the ready position at the start of the pitch. Runner at first base and third base. Starting position. When working the 3-umpire system with runners at first and third base, the base umpires start in the counter-rotated position. The starting position for the first base umpire is behind or off and to the first base side of the second base person, shading the lead runner and square to the plate. This position can and should be adjusted based on the location of the second base person. The starting position for the third base umpire is 12 to 15 feet beyond third base in foul territory and square to the plate. The third base
Notice
umpire
third
should be
base is
slightly off the line to prevent the runner from blocking the view of the plate. Both base umpires should go to the ready position at the start of the pitch. Runners on second and third base only. Starting position. When working the 3-umpire system with a runner at second and third base, the umpires start in the counter-rotated position. The starting position for the first base umpire is behind or off and to the second base side of the second base person, shading the lead runner and square to the plate. This position can and should be adjusted based on the location of the second base person. The starting position for the third base umpire is 12 to 15 feet beyond third base in foul territory and square to the plate. The third base umpire should be slightly off the line to prevent the runner from blocking the view of the plate. Both base umpires should go to the ready position at the start of the pitch. Bases loaded. Starting position. When working the 3-umpire system with the bases loaded, the starting position for the first base umpire is behind or off and to the second base side of the second base person, shading the lead runner and square to the plate. This position can and should be adjusted based on the location of the second base person. The starting position for the third base umpire is 12 to 15 feet beyond third base in foul territory and square to the plate. The third base umpire should be slightly off the line to prevent the runner from blocking the view of the plate. Both base umpires should go to the ready position at the start of the pitch.
Okay.
Ground ball to the infield. With a runner on second base only and a ground ball to the infield, the first base umpire should let the ball take them to the play. If the throw is to second base, move to get the best angle possible. If the throw is to first base, move parallel to the baseline to the best distance possible. Stop, see the play, and make the call. The third base umpire should move into fair territory and is responsible for any play at third base. If the runner from second base advances to third base, move to the depth of 10 to 12 feet at a 90-degree angle. Stop, see the play, and make the call. The plate umpire should move from behind the plate and read the play. The first base umpire is responsible for any play at first base and second base. The third base umpire is responsible for any play at third base. The plate umpire is responsible for any play at the plate. Base hit to the outfield. With a runner on second base only and a base hit to the outfield, both base umpires should button hook inside the diamond, pick up the ball, and glance at the runners. As the runner from second base approaches third base, the plate umpire should move to a position behind and in line with the deepest corner of the right-hand batter's box at a depth of 10 to 12 feet from the plate. Stop, get an unobstructed view of the play, and make the call. The first base umpire is responsible for any play at first or second base. The third base umpire is responsible for any play at third base. The plate umpire is responsible for any play at the plate.
Can
You
we
missed
hold
the
right?
wedge on tag.
Can we hold right there real quick? On the any play coming in the third that we just saw, we can also go into foul territory instead of, as our Florida modified mechanics. So
Absolutely.
that in
Use
mind.
the wedge principles for any tag play.
correct. Okay, continue.
Pickoff attempt at first base. On a pickoff attempt at first base, the first base umpire should step into fair territory, getting a 90-degree angle to the returning runner to first base. Stop, get an unobstructed view to see the play, and make the call. The plate umpire should step out from behind the plate and read the play. The first base umpire is responsible for any play at first base and any play at the plate. The second base umpire is responsible for a play at second base. The plate umpire is responsible for any play at third base. Pickoff attempt at first base. With runners at first and third base and a pickoff attempt at first base, the first base umpire should read the play and move parallel to the baseline to get the best angle and distance possible at first base. Stop, see the play, and make the call. The first base umpire is responsible for any play at first and second base. The third base umpire should read the play and is responsible for any play at third base. The plate umpire should move out from behind the plate, read the play, and is responsible for any play at the plate. Pickoff attempt at second base. With runners at first and second and a pickoff attempt at second base, the first base umpire should read the play and move parallel to the baseline to get an unobstructed view of the play and make the call. Be prepared to move back to first base for a subsequent throw. The first base umpire is responsible for any play at first and second base. The third base umpire should read the play and is responsible for any play at third base. The plate umpire should move out from behind the plate, read the play, and is responsible for any play at the plate. Pickoff attempt at third base. With runners at first and third base and a
Oh, sorry about that.
pickoff attempt at third base. With runners at first and third base and a pickoff attempt at third base, the third base umpire should remain in foul ground and get the best angle possible at third base for the tag. Stop, see the play, and make the call. The first base umpire should read the play. The plate umpire should move out from behind the plate and read the play. The first base umpire is responsible for any play at first and second base. The third base umpire is responsible for the pickoff and any subsequent play at third base. The plate umpire is responsible for any play at the plate. pickoff attempt at third base. With the bases loaded and a pickoff attempt at third base, the third base umpire should remain in foul ground and get the best angle possible at third base for the tag. Stop, see the play, and make the call. The first base umpire should read the play and is responsible for any play at first and second base. The plate umpire should move out from behind the plate, read the play, and is responsible for any play at the plate. Steal of second base. With runners on first and third base, and the runner at first base attempts to steal, the first base umpire should read the play and move parallel to the baseline to a 90-degree angle at a depth of 10 to 12 feet from second base. Stop, see the play, and make the call. The third base umpire is responsible for any play at third base. The plate umpire should step out from behind the plate, read the play, and is responsible for any play at the plate. Should the throw to second base be cut off and returned to the plate umpire should move back to a position behind and in line with the deepest corner of the right-hand batter's box at a depth of 10 to 12 feet from the plate. Stop, get an unobstructed view of the play, and make the call.
Use the wedge on this one.
Attempted steal of second base. On a steal attempt, the third base umpire should move to a distance of 10 to 12 feet and 90 degrees to the path of the runner, just short of second base. Let the ball take them to the play. Stop, see the play, and make the call. The first base umpire should step into fair territory, observe the play, and be prepared if the runner returns to first base, or be prepared to rotate to the plate if the runner continues to third base. The plate umpire should move from behind the plate and up the third base foul line. The first base umpire is responsible for any play at first base and any play at the plate. The third base umpire is responsible for any play at second base. The plate umpire is responsible for any play at third base. Attempted steal of third base. On a steal attempt of third base, the third base umpire should step into fair territory, moving to a depth of 10 to 12 feet from third base and obtain a 90-degree angle. Stop, see the play, and make the call. The first base umpire should read the play and is responsible for any play back to second base. The third base umpire is responsible for the steal at third base. The plate umpire should move out from behind the plate, read the play, and is responsible for any play at the plate. Steal attempt of third base and second base. With a runner on first and second and a steal attempt of third base, the third base umpire should step into fair territory, moving to a depth of 10 to 12 feet and obtain a 90-degree angle. Stop, see the play, and make the call. The first base umpire should read the play and is responsible for any play at first or second base. If the runner at first base attempts to advance to second base, the first base umpire should read the play and move parallel to the baseline to a 90-degree angle at a depth of 10 to 12 feet at second base. If the throw goes to second base, stop, see the play, and make the call. The plate umpire should step out from behind the plate, read the play, and is responsible for any play at the plate.
Ooh, just a little bit videos.
Okay. Cindy, you want to take this one, please?
Sure. For chases, well, everybody should be teaching PPP, pre-pitch preparation. Okay. You have to know, what do you do if it's your chase? What do you do if it's your partner's chase? In order to know that, you have to know first your chase responsibilities. So if I'm on the lines, I know it's from center field to my line. So if the ball goes anywhere from center field to right field, all of a sudden I've got to go, especially if it's, you know, a ball that somebody's going to get a glove on. So go. U3 should be in his head should be going, okay, if U1 goes, my next responsibility is get into the diamond. Plate responsibility, because he pre-pitched it. If U1 goes out, I've got to get to first base for that play at first base. So pre-pitch preparation will save you 99% of the time. The other thing is to make sure that you read your partner first, you read the ball, then you read your partner again. Okay. Sometimes just that first look, you could be like, oh, nobody's going to chase that. And then you come in and do your little button hook, and all of a sudden U3 goes out and you've got the runner at second with nobody covering. So the biggest thing is to always read your partner. Well, actually, first thing is know your chase responsibilities, then read your partner, and then read the play and read your partner one last time to make sure that they didn't go out late. Anytime you go out on a ball, you're going to always chase parallel to the flight of the ball. You don't ever want to go at it because you won't see it. You want to stop, be set before you make your call. It's going to be fair or foul down the line. You want to be between the lines, and a catch, no catch is obvious, but make your signal facing the play, square to the play. You don't have to run out like you're going to catch the ball. Okay. 2 or 3, maybe 5 steps is plenty enough to get out there to see what you need to see, especially if it's a real quick line drive or something that the outfielder's coming in and it's going to be a shoestring catch. You may just have enough time to turn and then focus on where the ball is and where the players are and make that call. If you go out, stay out. All right, we don't come back unless there's a real cluster and you're needed somewhere. I.e., you make the catch out there facing the play. You turn with the ball. You come in and you see that there's a rundown between second and third, and a possible runner at first, kind of inching their way to second, but not really. You may want to come in if you're U1 so that you can help out on a back end to first base, since their plate and U3 will be covering the runner between second and third. Now you've got that runner at first, between first and second. You can always come back in and help. But the biggest thing, if you ever do that, is communicate. Say, hey, I've got the back end. I'm here at first, and let your partners know so that everybody will be on the same page and you'll look like heroes out there. The only thing the first right of refusal, like we talked about, is U1. If U1 decides not to go on something in center field and U3 thinks it should be chased, then he can do that as he's coming across, because his position is coming across to second base for a calling position at second base. So he can easily make 3 or 4 steps into the grass and make a play that make a call that needs to be made on a fly ball out there.
Thanks, Cindy. And it says, give a verbal 2-man. It's great if you hear all 3 partners
Absolutely
verbally communicating 2-man. Then you know they're on the same page. So plate should always, if somebody chases, be yelling 2-man to let everybody know.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you. Next one.
Extra base hit to the outfield. With a runner at second base only and an extra base hit to the outfield, both base umpires should button hook inside the diamond, pick up the ball, and glance at the runners. The plate umpire should move out from behind the plate and is responsible for any play at the plate. If the batter runner continues to second base, the first base umpire should move parallel to the baseline to a 90-degree angle at a depth of 10 to 12 feet. Stop, see the play, and make the call. The first base umpire is responsible for any play at first and second base. The third base umpire is responsible for any play at third base. The plate umpire is responsible for any play at the plate. Base hit to the outfield. With a runner on second base only and a base hit to the outfield, both base umpires should button hook inside the diamond, pick up the ball, and glance at the runners. As the runner from second base approaches third base, the plate umpire should move to a position behind and in line with the deepest corner of the right-hand batter's box at a
No
depth
need to go
of
down
10
the
to
third
12
base
feet
line
from the
on that.
plate.
You can stand
Stop,
behind the plate.
get an unobstructed view of the play, and make the call. The first base umpire is responsible for any play at first or second base. The third base umpire is responsible for any play at third base. The plate umpire is responsible for any play at the plate.
Okay. Every one of your 3 umpire crews should read the authorized FHSA mechanic modifications. It's available on the central hub. It's what we expect to see. We've changed the, it's really what's in the federal or in the NFHS umpire manual is really pretty basic. There's some better ways to do things. There are times when you're started on the line, when using foul ground makes absolute sense. A lot of the time, it will keep you out of throwing lanes, keep you out of running areas, and will get you to where you need to be. There are times where we encourage you to work outside the diamond, where you don't have to button hook. And we also would encourage use of the timing play signals. So anytime you have runners and 2 outs, that 2-out timing play, and even a more common timing play that gets you in trouble is if you have 1 out and the lead runner on third base. Fly ball to the outfield, that's the 2nd out. That runner from third is loafing home, and there's a play at third base on the runner coming from second. That's a timing play that can get you in trouble. So that's a time to use a 1-out timing signal when you have multiple runners and the lead runner's on third base.
And no way you are doing this stuff. It's just like, oh, that I saw that on TV, or oh, I know we could do this. Let's try it. Just understand why you're going either in or outside the diamond, why you're not getting ready to get where the ball in your ear. Just think about why you're doing these modifications.
Okay, and let me give you an example of working outside the diamond. Okay, this would be with you have a runner on second, or I'm sorry, runner on first, and there's a fly ball in which you 3 will go out on. This would be a great time to kind of stay outside, getting your view of the runner tagging and being able to stay outside for a play at second base, instead of trying to cross the runner's path and then going inside parallel to second base. So that would be one situation where working outside would get you to second base where you need to be.
Yeah, same thing if you have a runner at first base only and there's a base hit to left field. There's no need for U1 to come inside and button hook on that. They can stay outside. They have help ahead, and watch that batter runner come down and touch first base. So there's times to do it where it makes good sense and keeps us from having to button hook when we're not as physically fit as we might be. So next one.
It should be.
All right. We went down through all the evaluations we did in 2018 and 2019 and cataloged the ones that were most common. For plate umpires, no surprise, being in the slot, being properly aligned, and head height. Trails, actually, there weren't too many dings on zones. Most of the plate umpires that you all sent to Vero Beach in those 2 years had pretty good zones. We sometimes dinged the plate umpire on his trail mechanics, and a lot of times we reminded him to use the wedge, not stand on an X. For base umpires, biggest dings were poor chase decisions, chased when they shouldn't have, or two people chased, or chased at the ball, chased mechanics. So again, outfield coverage is a big thing that we don't do often in 2 umpire mechanics that needs practice in 3 umpire. Believe it or not, after all the things that are written down and tell you, there's only 2 things you can get perfect: your uniform and your starting positions. But a lot of times base umpires did not read the manual or read our notes and did not have good starting positions. Cindy mentioned earlier, when U1 is counter rotated, and especially when there's 2 outs, and that ball is somewhere pitcher, third base, somewhere in the infield, and the obvious play is first base, too many U1s just stayed out there behind F4 and didn't move to that good calling position for that. I mean, it's an important play. You got base runners, there's 2 outs, runners are moving. That play might be close at first. You need to get over there and try to get to 18 feet for good calling position. U3 on a walk, the ball's live. It happens. I've seen it happen a couple times that that batter runner will keep on going. And the U3 has that call at second base. So you're not going behind second base. You're just not trotting over to your rotated position. You're making a conscious movement to your rabbit target, the calling position at second base on a walk. Anytime U1 chases, U3 has everything. If we revert to 2 umpire mechanics, U3 has everything at first and second base. That means you have to get hard in on the other side of the circle to cover first and second. People that, again, not communicating and reading their partners. Let's see, couple routine or a couple other ones that kind of applied to everybody. These are high school kids. It's exciting times when you're in postseason. If they earn a call, if the call's anywhere closer, if they make a good play, sell the call. Entertain the people. Sell out or sell safe. Don't make it just a routine call when it required a lot of good athletic effort. And don't walk through routine calls. Always be stopped, be set, even if it's just a foul ball. Plate umpire walking up the line, raising his hands, foul ball. No, be set when you make a signal. And again, on rotations, get to the point of the plate. First base, U1. If you start late, finish it anyway. Get to the point of the plate. And I think that's all we got.
Yeah. Oh, Larry, why don't you go over that this is teaching, that, this is quite a bit all at once.
Right. This will be available on the central hub. You can use it for your associations, especially all those federation little cartoon mechanics. We play them often enough, and you will all be able to repeat word for word what that lady's saying. But because she says it on every one, but she's consistent. So yeah, this is for you to use to teach your associations, teach yourself. Get together. If you have a 3 umpire crew put together, get together and just watch these things and think about it and talk about it. Talk about how you're going to do it when you get to Claremont or get to your regional assignment, wherever it might be.
If you have questions, you can go ahead and put them in the Q&A box, and I will read them.
Okay, I just have a couple of comments to make. My biggest thing is in 3-man, usually it reverts to 2-man. So if you're not a good 2-man person, then you cannot do 3-man correctly, okay? So the biggest thing is get down your basics of who covers what in 2-man, and 3-man will come a lot easier. Pre-pitch prep will save you a lot of headache, okay? Always go through what's the batter gonna do, what's the what's the runner going to do? What's my partner going to do? Where should I be? What should I be covering? If you run through that every single pitch, then you will know what to do when things happen.
Okay, I can take Chris's question here. Yeah, Chris, that you were absolutely right. At Florida modifications, we want U1 walking the line when we have a runner at third base only. So you start 18 to 21 and walk the line. Federation is a little bit different, and that was in that one video. But you're right, Chris. U1 with a runner at third only, 18 to 21, walking the line. Good catch. Okay, Mark has a question. He hasn't had a chance to do three-man. Work with your assigner. What I've done with some of my new people that want to learn three-man is tell them if I've got a good JV varsity set where I've got two good umpires that I want to work the varsity game, I'll tell them go out there and work the JV game as a three-man to just to learn it. But of course you're going to have some people that are good mentors and teachers on that varsity set to work with this person. And again, you got to volunteer and put yourself out there. The other thing is just go watch every chance you get to watch a three-man.
There was a second question.
Okay. Richard's got proper position of U1 and a rundown between plate and third. Well, it depends if you have any other runners. What do you think, Cindy?
Well, if you have no runners, you're going to be on the line, so you can always just step in a little bit and maybe help out with maybe an obstruction interference, keep an eye on things. If you have multiple runners on, you're definitely going to be outside in the counter rotated position around second base, because you've got to watch the runners on first and second. You don't really want to come inside the diamond because the ball's in there, and if they throw back to a base, you're going to be spinning in circles. So you want to stay outside, and you're just going to go parallel between first and second. If you have no runners on, like I said, you can come in and cheat a lot more and maybe help out as a third set of eyes.
And Bruce has a question about that first video. I think it was the Duke Pit was the second one. The Texas A&M video where our plate umpire stayed on first base line extended when we said we'd much rather have him in the wedge. Well, you've got to play at the plate. That's your priority. So yes, because hang on those dogs, Kelly. Because U1 went out on that one and we reverted to two-man. The other runner was, remember, if you revert to two-man and plate has a play at the plate, then the other base umpire will take the trail runner into third. So work the wedge, get that call right. That's the biggest priority. Never leave a call that you have for a call that you might have.
Yeah, and in conjunction with that, if you did have multiple runners on, U3 should have been in top of circle because they got first and second. But they can flip around and help you at third base because you're right, 100%, Larry. The priority plays at the plate. The plate umpire has to deal with that play first. And if the say there was only 2 outs and they're going to snap throw it down to third, then the base umpire has to help the plate on that.
Next question, Chris has when U3 is rotated and you're on that X between the line from third base to second base and 12 feet back. Yeah, that's your holding position. You absolutely want to use wedge principles there. As that throw's coming in, move and keep everything in front of you. Absolutely, Chris.
All right, but don't get caught behind second base on the outfield side of it because you technically cannot see that foot touch that base. So just be careful if you're going to go and rotate towards second base to see the wedge and any possible tag coming through. You may have to rotate back to see the play into the bag. So
yeah, good point.
Just be careful.
when we say see the base and see the offense, we got to see where the offense touches the base. So. Okay.
They love
Come on,
dancing.
Kelly, show us the dogs.
Brady, come here. Come here. Come here. I have one dog that walks backwards. Come here. So she's got to turn around. It's truly, come here.
And Victor, yes, all this will be put on the central hub.
Aw.
There's that puppy.
That's Chara. She's a big girl. Okay, go lay down. Okay.
Oh, wow. Tons on them.
Bruce has a question. Would you three be graded poorly if he never button hooked? Not if you don't need to. If you can use foul ground and get it inside, that's ideal, actually. All right, Chris, the coverage for tagging up and leaving early, that is in the manual. Take a look at that. If you got further questions, we can take that offline. That's a little more detailed than we need to get into as late as we are. But thank you all for attending. Hopefully your season's going well. Hopefully we're getting the pitching rule,
Is there anybody?
start back and not step back. Hopefully we're getting that underway. I know everybody should have gotten the videos that Jeremy sent out of the two girls that were stepping back. Those are both illegal. There's not even anything close. They were both stepping back as part of their motion. You've got to start back. They've got to plant that toe of that stride foot before you start any motion forward.
Bruce brought up one thing real quick about, yes, you can look up the shoot on a steal from first to second. That's not it won't be a check
No,
off on you.
we do want you to do that. Keep an eye on that play. Something might happen.
And running from first U1 going home to cover the plate. No, sometimes you will be in fair territory because you've got the play at first base as your priority. As soon as that play gets over with, then yes, you're still in fair territory, but you want to cut to foul territory and head down to the plate in foul territory. So you don't want to be in the throwing lanes from right field or wherever.
Right. So yeah, sometimes you're out there to make a call at first base, so you're starting in fair. But usually when you're on the line and there's a rotation, you can stay in foul, get to the plate.
Correct.
God, I love this stuff.
You're very good at it, by the way.
Any more? Thanks, Kelly.
All right.
Glad you could stay with us for a whole webinar.
It was a pleasure. Sorry about my crazy dogs.
Your dogs are great.
All right.
All right, thanks,
We'll see you all
everybody.
later. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks, everyone. See ya.
Um,